Hi, my name is Noni Matikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Ubaloi versus Undanzi or Undanzi versus Ubaloi because my goodness, what we are watching or witnessing in that courtroom of Chadrata is nothing short of Zonkomba Nina. Zonkomba Nina. Mbuya kanongoma mina. Mbuya kanongoma mina. Angikonteke. Undanzi is like Zonkomba Nina. Mbuya kanongoma. Nithi ngiyinkabi. Ngizonikhomba nina ngizonikhomba indoda omzulu mina. We are watching into it indoda omzulu, like, oh my goodness, I'm enjoying it though. I do not want to lie, as much as I'm tired. It's been long since Undanzi has been on the witness box. It's tiring, but what I can tell you, I'm enjoying everything that he does in that witness box because it shows us that the man is innocent, the man is talking his truth, and the man is doing everything in his power to fight for his life. And the only way for him to win this fight is only through telling his truth. And I, at this point, looking at everything that is happening in our country, I believe God will be the one that saves the guys in the entire situation. And the other thing that has happened is this case of Senzumewa, as sadly as it is one of those cases that I have not that are going to, that have exposed the NPA, judiciary, SEPs, more than, I think it was the starter. It was the starter of things because after Yona, we had Kwanazi. Yesterday, we had Manamela. Is Manamela that general? And then we also had General Mfazi from Eastern Cape. Like, there's a lot of things that we have seen. Do you understand? So now, when it comes to the Senzumewa case, we're seeing a lot of inside the courtroom happenings. Do you understand? Now, this was supposed to be one of those moments, like the moment where the state finally breaks Ubongani Dansi. That cross-examination was meant for that, in my view and my understanding. The moment where Advocate Baloyi stands up, connects all the dots, and says, this is the man. But instead, what we are getting, something else is happening in that courtroom of Chadrata Mokgatleng. Every single thing, I mean, every single thing that Ubaloi has tried failed dismally. Every angle, every strategy, every attempt to pin Ndanzi down started collapsing one by one in real time while people are watching. That's what is happening. Even Judge Rata is aware, and Judge Rata knows that Ubaloi has failed. He knows. I'll tell you in another video why I say that. And what we are seeing right now is something far more dangerous for the state, not just resistance from Undanzi, but a pattern of failure from the state. They are failing. It's bad. Now, the strategy was lock the version. That's what they did. They were trying that strategy of lock the version and deal with it and rubbish this boy. And let's be clear about what Baloyi was trying to do there. It was a classic production strategy. Firstly, lock the accused into a version. Second, apply pressure until contradictions appear. Thirdly, collapse credibility. But here is the problem that he was faced with the entire time. Ndanzi is not cracking. He is calm, he is consistent, he is composed. And when that happens, the strategy doesn't just stall, it backfires big time. It backfires big time, and Ubaloi was not ready for that. That's how sad the situation is, Kesana. And another thing that he has done, he dealt with the cell phone evidence. That one was looking like it was his trump card, but it collapsed. Oh, that situation collapsed very fast. But he was hanging on to that, but every merry-go-round he tried with it, it failed. It collapsed faster than you can even blink. it collapsed faster than you can even blink. This was supposed to be a strong point in Dabaya's cell phone evidence. The state says Ndanzi's phone was active. There were movements, calls were made, but then comes the contradiction. Ndanzi says the police took two phones. Yes. They were never properly booked as exhibits. Chain of custody question. That one was questionable. Why didn't you do that? Upusep 13 was cell phone, even if it was one. Upusep 13, they don't have. They don't have. Now, here is where it gets dangerous for the state. If the police say they took one cell phone, then how do you explain a movement from another phone linked to Ubongalidas? How are you going to explain that? If the phones were not with Ndanzi and suddenly this is not law, they were not with Ndanzi, right? According to Ndanzi, they were with the police. Then who is this person in my police who had the cell phones of Ndanzi? And suddenly this is no longer just cell phone evidence. It becomes a chain of custody crisis because Nitini, Ndanzi had cell phones. Njani ba uNtanzi had cell phones, yet uNtanzi kwayena was in a cell and these cell phones are moving everywhere. What do you mean? Strategy so start linking him to the crime, failed connections with the other accused, everything else that they tried. Baloyi tried to do what every prosecutor must do, place the accused at the crime scene, link him to co-accused, build association, but Ntanzi responds, I did not know them in 2014. There is no link, Kengoku. There is absolutely no link, Kengoku. And here is the real issue. There is no independent, uncontested evidence placing Ntanzi at the crime scene. Nix, including Eka Zungu, the constable. It does not place the accused at the crime scene. It says they were there. Go Fosloras Basutuni hostel. It doesn't say they were at Kumalo house. Problems? Now, here, when you look at it, there's no clean calling, physical evidence, direct identification without dispute. So what happens? The state starts leaning harder, but the foundation is not solid enough, and that pressure starts to show. Any into that they tried, another strategy, ID kits and identification still contested now. Do you understand? Still contested. Now we move to identification. The state says he matches the intruder description, but Ntanzi says that identification is wrong. I was never placed in a proper identity parade, and this is critical, Gesana, because in law, dog identification without proper procedure is weak on its own. It doesn't stand. So again, not confirmed, not clean, not uncontested. Another angle that doesn't fully land. Do you see Ubalo is failing dismally? Another one, strategy 5, alibi attack, ne? Not a knockout, even that one. Not a knockout, even that one. Then comes the bank records. The state tries to say your alibi doesn't match your financial activity, but here's the reality. This is not direct proof of guilt. This is indirect pressure, circumstantial tension, and Ntanzi holds the line. Again, no collapse, no contradiction, explosion, just controlled responses, steady defense. And that's it. Again, Baloyi fails dismally. Strategy number 6, confessions, the state's latest strongholds. They are sure today they are going to come up with something. Now, this is where things get serious because this is the only real weapon the state still has. The confession statements, yes, they were ruled admissible. Admissible does not mean true, reliable, unchallenged. And Ntanzi is doing something very important when it comes to the so-called confessions. He is not accepting the narrative inside those confessions. So now the state has a problem. They have a confession or confessions, but they still need to corroborate. They need corroboration, consistency, supporting evidence. Without that, the confession stands alone. And in a high-profile case, that is very dangerous, Kesan. That is very dangerous. He still, also the contents of the confessions were read, and they are not speaking to one another for starters. Secondly, the confessions are not aligned with everything that was said by the people inside the house. They are not aligned. So now, the real shift is about controlling the courtroom, right? This is the part most people are missing when it comes to this. This is not just about evidence anymore. This is about control. At the beginning, Baloyi was in control, driving the narrative. leading the pace. Now he is reacting to everything that is happening, that is being said. Everything, Jay. He's reacting to Danzi's responses, reacting to objections. Busy. He's busy defending lines of questioning, repeating angles. And when a prosecutor starts repeating, it usually means one thing, Kesan. Sorry, one thing and one thing only. The first attempt didn't land. It did not land. That's what it means. Now, what we see is not a win, not a loss, but a problem. We're seeing problems for Baloyi. So let's answer the big question. What has Baloyi successfully done when it comes to this case? He has created pressure. Of course, he did. He has introduced contradictions to test. He tried. He has kept the state case alive. But Ndanzi he nailed Bongani Ndanzi. Has Baloyi nailed Bongani Ndanzi and say, yeah, I'm locking you in here? The answer is not yet. He has not done that. And that's the danger, yes, Sana. That's where the danger is. It's been 10 weeks, and that's where the danger is. Because in cases like this, if you don't clearly place the accused on there by the crime scene, if you don't break the version, if you don't corroborate your strongest evidence, then what are you left with is not a conviction, Kesan. It's a battle still in progress. And right now, the battle is far from over. That's what we are facing. Or that's what let me not say that's what we are facing. Or maybe the battle, yes, because Obondanzi are still fighting, we still have other accused. But Undanzi, I think he has fought a good fight. Okay, he has done his diligence when it comes to fighting for his life. I don't know about you. What are your thoughts? Because I am saying Baloyi has failed dismally by all angles, by all means. What do you see happening here? Thank you so much. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.